Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at one of my favorite budget decks. It's the mono blue Djinn deck. It uses only 4 rares, although in this version we've added a couple of other ones. So 6 rares in this deck. We're going to go through some gameplay. I'm going to explain the deck and show you how to use it, because this one is a little bit more tricky to use than something simple like mono red or mono white, where you just throw out all your creatures and just keep attacking. This one takes a little bit more patience and a little bit more decisions you need to make. So we're going to look at different things you can do with this deck to be able to win more games. So let's get into it. So first of all, before we get into it, don't forget you can like this video and subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss out on any future videos like this one. Okay, so first of all, I want to go over a couple of things to do with this this deck. Okay, so in Platinum rank, according to untapped.gg, the mono blue tempo deck, which is almost exactly the same as the version of a deck that I'm using, currently has a 56.9% win rate overall. So almost 57% win rate. And at the moment, my stats on using this are at a 58% win rate, but that's 68% on the play and 51% on the draw. And for some reason, I've played 33 times on the draw and only 25 times on the play. So if you actually put those the win rate together on the play and the draw, and if I played an equal amount of on the play and on the draw, then my win rate is going to be actually about 60%. So compared to the average of about 57%, I'm getting about 60% of a win rate with this deck. So I guess that means I probably know how to use it relatively well, better than the average person. I'm not an expert with mono blue. Blue tends to be my least favorite color, but this one works pretty well for me. So in this deck, what we want to do is I'm just going to go through the cards that we've got. I go through this in detail in my my 10 budget deck video that came out recently, but just to go through it really quickly, in this deck, the main things we have are the Haughty Djinn, a 3 mana star 4 creature, and it has power equal to the number of instants and sorceries in your graveyard. So what we want to do is get as many instants and sorceries into our graveyard as possible to make this creature really strong. It's going to be really weak at the beginning and really strong at the end, so we don't want to play it early, we want to play it later on. We also have the Tolarian Terror, which is a 7 mana 5/5 Ward 2 creature, but it costs 1 less to cast for each instant and sorcery in our graveyard. So if we get other instants and sorceries into our graveyard, we're going to be paying 1 mana for this 5/5 creature with Ward 2. So to get lots of things into our graveyard, we have things like Consider that can Surveil, which is putting things into the graveyard. And then obviously when you cast Consider, that goes into the graveyard anyway. We have Fading Hope, which can be protection for our creatures, or a tempo play to get rid of the opponent's creatures or kill one of their tokens or something like that. We have March of Swirling Mist, which is the other rare I've added to this deck, where we can phase out our creatures or phase out the opponent's blockers if we need to, and that goes to the graveyard. We have Curate, which can Surveil 2 and draw a card, basically the same as Consider. It costs 1 mana more, but with the Haughty Djinn, our instants and sorceries will cost 1 less to cast. So all these spells here will be 1 mana, 1 blue mana spells. Curate Surveils 2, draws a card. We have Impulse to look at the top 4 of our library and pick 1 put into our hand. And we have our counterspells, Essence Scatter for creatures, Negate for non-creatures, and 4 Make Disappears for anything else that the opponent might have, normally early on when they can't afford to pay the extra 2 mana. If we really need to, we can use the casualty effect of Make Disappear, and if we have 2 Haughty Djinns, we might have to sacrifice 1, or we could sacrifice a Tolarian Terror if we don't need it, to make the opponent have to pay 4 to cast a spell if we really have to stop them. And then we have Thirst for Discovery to help us find more cards, normally find the Djinn if we don't have one near the beginning, and we have Flow of Knowledge later on to draw cards for each draw cards for each island we control, then discard 2 cards. So we'll normally have at least 5 islands out at this point. We could have 4 because we might have a Djinn, and then we might cast this for 4 because it will cost 1 less. But normally it's at least 5 we're going to draw and discard 2. So we can get lots of instants and sorceries, or in this case just instants, into our graveyard. It's going to make Tolarian Terror really cheap. It's going to make Haughty Djinn really powerful, and because it has flying, it's kind of hard to kill. We've only got 22 lands in the deck. We're not running any other types of lands apart from islands because we have Flow of Knowledge needs islands, so we don't want to have other non-island lands. And Thirst for Discovery, we can discard a basic land card instead of 2 other cards, so we want to make sure we have basic lands. So that's everything we need for the deck. Let's get into some games. I'll show you the strategy that I use with this deck. So hopefully if you're using it now, and if you don't feel like you're winning that many games, you might learn some things from this that might help you play slightly differently. We'll see. I'm not going to guarantee I'm going to win every game, but we will see what happens. Hopefully I'm going to win the majority of them and show you how I would use this deck. Okay, let's get into the games. Right, okay, so we're starting out with Consider, which is good. Fading Hopes, Negates. Okay, we've got some things we need. And we have at least 2 lands. If we don't have at least 2 lands, it's no good. Okay, and the opponent did a mulligan, which is great. Means we might be 1 card ahead as well. So we want to, if we have Consider, we're going to do it on turn 1. We're going to put away the extra. Oh, do we want the extra land? Okay, let's draw the land. Because we do kind of want to have at least 3. We don't want to get stuck. Okay, now we have enough. So we can negate anything that's going to be trouble. Normally it works better to do that later on. Play our land, and then we have Impulse if we need it, or Negate if we want to. Do we care about... Well, we can't do anything here. We can just Impulse, so... why don't we send it back? We get to Scry. Essence Scatter. Yeah, I think we'd like to have that. So we're going to pass turn. And that might need to be negated, because that's going to be slightly more difficult for us to deal with. We've got another land. And then this turn we've got 4. We can use Impulse and we can use Essence Scatter. I'm guessing they're going to have a creature they want to play. They might not. They might have like another wedding announcement. Or Restoration. Okay, well let's do Impulse now. If we get a Make Disappear, then we can slow that down as well. Now, land is fine. So we could do Flow of Knowledge. Or we could do Essence Scatter. Now I kind of want to do Flow of Knowledge. So as long as I don't play anything too annoying. Well, we can't do anything about that right now anyway. So we're going to have to let them do that. We get to do Flow of Knowledge. And do we want the extra land? Probably don't want the extra land. And I'm going to throw away the other Consider. So now we're at the point where we've got at least 6 in the graveyard. We've got Consider, Fading Hopes, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the graveyard. So this is going to be, I should have just looked at this. This is going to be a 7-4, and this is going to be played for 1 mana. So let's go with Haughty Djinn for now. Now we have a few options here. I guess what I'll probably do actually is play out the Tolarian Terror as well, because there's now 1 mana. So we have different options we can use here. We have all these things we can do. Make Disappear if they have less than 2 mana left. Essence Scatter if it's a creature we don't like. Fading Hope or March of Swirling Mist can protect our own things. Now they can sacrifice it to destroy artifacts or enchantments, but we don't have any artifacts or enchantments. So I really don't think I need to do anything about that. And there you go, they're using Destroy Evil, so in that case I'm going to make that disappear. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, so we've got another land. We're on 6 lands now. We have Essence Scatter if we need it, March, and Fading Hope. In fact, what I think I might do is I might attack with all. There's a chance they'll block with all their creatures, which is great because I'm just going to do Fading Hope on one of them. Get rid of a token. Get to Scry. More Essence Scatter. I mean, I might need it. I probably have everything I need at the moment though. Because now I've done 9 damage, they're down to 11. All I have to do is get, if they don't play any other creatures, let's get 2 other, oh there you go, there's a creature. Get that in the graveyard. And now they've got nothing. We win. Okay, first one went pretty smoothly. Okay, we've got a pretty good opening hand here. Consider on turn 1. We have Make Disappear or Essence Scatter for turn 2. And hopefully we're going to draw another land and get things going here. And off we go. Okay, so going second is slightly harder. They get their things out first. Don't worry so much about this being indestructible because you're more likely to Fading Hope it. So consider we do want the other land, so let's take the other land. Okay, and this gives us the option of Essence Scatter, Impulse, Make Disappear. We have loads of things we can do here. So we're going to let them attack first. We can take 2 damage. They're not going to do anything. In that case, let's do Impulse, just to be mana efficient. What do we want into our hand? I guess Fading Hope. Let's just take Fading Hope. So now we really want to draw more land. But what we can do is Fading Hope and then Make Disappear. Or just see what they do here. Let's just do Fading Hope now. We get the Scry. Impulse. Let's put that away for now. And then see if they play it back out. And we can do Essence Scatter. That gets rid of that one. Do they have another one? They have an Adversary. Okay. Adversary is kind of annoying too. So we could go with Consider or Thirst for Discovery to get some other things out. Or we could just pass, but then we've only got Make Disappear and Consider. We could do Consider now. Or we could get Haughty Djinn out. We don't want to get Haughty Djinn out too early. So I'm just going to do Thirst for Discovery. Let's see if we can get another land. Oh, we didn't. Okay, so in that case, what do we not need? Maybe we can get rid of Negate. Maybe we get rid of a Tolarian Terror. Let's see, we've got Consider, we've got Fading Hope. Maybe we get rid of one Consider instead, actually. That gets some things into the graveyard. We've now got Tolarian Terror for 1. So it allows them this free hit, and we can't counter anything, which is a bit of a pain. We didn't really get the lands we needed. Copper Coat gives that ward, makes it bigger. But that's fine, we've got things we can do. Another land would be nice. That's a shame. Okay, in that case we're going to do Tolarian Terror for 1. We're going to hold up everything else. So we just want to slow down the damage and the life gain. We might try and kill it, but they have to pay 2 to do that. Another Adversary. Okay, they're probably going to pay extra. Make Disappear is no good. We could do Consider just to see what we get. Yeah, let's take the land. We're going to need it next turn. Okay, so this is going to really boost this to 6-3, which is not ideal. but I'd rather kill it. And probably send back the copper coat, I guess. Another consider's fine. It gets rid of it. It's not ideal. We kind of want to get rid of that one as well. We've got the land. Now we could see if we can get rid of it now, rather than getting the haughty Djinn out. So another land is good. In fact, let's go with, yeah, let's do the other land. And this will surveil and draw a card. Thirst for discovery. Make disappear is probably not going to be any good here. But just in case I try and play something really big. Okay, let's see if we can get a Fading Hope. It's a very small chance, but you never know. Okay, another haughty Djinn. Right, so they're gaining lots of life. But haughty Djinns are going to come out as a 12-4 right now. This isn't ideal. But if they've got another copper coat or a brutal Cathar or something, Thalia's a pain. But it just kind of goes back on the discount we get anyway. Right, so what do we want to get rid of? This one, because it's making everything bigger. Now make disappears too expensive, so if they cast something else, we can't stop them. We could go for another one. I'm going to leave it for now. So let's phase these out. If I do this, X2, I believe I can pay this. Oh no, I don't think I can actually. So phase out one of them. So I need the extra one. So that's that. Phase one, pay one extra. And the ward. Am I getting this right? So I need to pay one because of Thalia. Yeah, and I can do one more. And I can pay the extra one. That should be right. Ward one, pay that. Okay, that takes that out. I only take 2 damage. Got another Thalia, okay. So I need a Fading Hope or some way of getting rid of their creature. That's if they can't kill this. They're going wider. That's going to be a problem. Yeah, that's going to be a problem. There's nothing I can do to stop this. No matter what I do, they're going to do enough damage next turn. But to be honest, if we had like a Fading Hope instead of a Make Disappear here, then we could do 26 damage next turn. They're on 27. In fact, we could... I mean, it's not going to do anything, so they can just pay it. But just to show that we can get these haughty Djinns bigger. So if we could only survive this turn, then they would be dead next turn, because they got no more life gain. So the life gain they got definitely helped them a lot. Still kind of close, right? One turn away. One turn away from winning that one. Okay, not a bad start. We've already got 3 lands, which is a good one. It means we can play everything pretty much we've got here. I should make it pretty clear. I'm not saying I'm, the best. Like I said, I'm not the best at mono blue. I don't normally like mono blue, but this one tends to work pretty well for me. I'm sure there are things I'm doing that you might do differently. Things I'm doing that might not be the best plays. But it's worked out pretty well for me so far. Okay, right. Going first is nice. Although we don't have counterspells yet. It would be nicer to have some counterspells. So we're going to have a curate, and hopefully we'll be able to find something useful. They don't do anything, which is nice. So we have a make disappear. I think I'm going to put something in the graveyard just to start getting those instants and sorceries in there to get a bit deeper into the deck. So with 3 lands out, we can make disappear if we need to. We can thirst for discovery if make disappear doesn't do anything. Thirst for discovery would be better. So unless they put out something that really needs to go. Like, is that really a problem? Yes, it eats the graveyard. So that's a problem. We don't want things that eat our graveyard because they take our spells out of there and they make our Tolarian Terror more expensive and they make our Haughty Djinn less powerful. Although it's only 1 card per turn, so it could be worse. Yeah, I don't want you to do it. Sorry. Okay, hopefully they don't have any more of those. So 5 mana now. I could do Tolarian Terror, but then I can't do Thirst for Discovery. So I'm going to leave this up as if I've got a counterspell. Hopefully they'll play around it. Maybe not. So let's do Thirst for Discovery now. We're going to draw, discard 2. Discard to consider. So these Tolarian Terrors are going to be 1 mana, as they are. So I guess a Fading Hope. And then I'll send this back now. A counterspell would be great. It's just a land. Okay. So we kind of got too many lands. Let's play out both of those. So you can play the Shieldred again, but you can't really get past the Tolarian Terror, so I'm going to keep attacking anyway. And if they don't have any more lands, it's probably a good thing. Okay, let's draw. Haughty Djinn is perfect. So they can block, but they lose Shelly. Take the damage. I've still got one of those, and now I've got Haughty Djinn. And if they're stuck on 4 lands, there's probably not much else they can do. Yeah, I don't mind. That's fine. I'm going to keep my March in case I need it. Interesting. Let's attack. They're going to lose Shieldred. So if I draw 3, I lose 6 life. Let's let Shieldred die first. I could do more damage to them, but they're on 7. And I can discard this. And they've got nothing else to do. Let's just draw loads of things. And we have loads of options now. We have Negate, we have Essence Scatter, we have Protection. And we have the land. So, there's a chance they have another one. If they have another one, then there's not much I can do about that. Doesn't matter if I negate or march. I'm going to go with march. If they have another one, it's dead, but they don't. Okay, perfect. Nothing they can do. At the beginning of my next turn, it comes back and we have all the counter spells up again. If they had 2 go for the throats, they could cast the second one before my march resolves and they could have killed it. So sometimes it's nice to have more than 1 island up. So you can like follow it up with a negate. They can't do anything. They can make me discard. Doesn't matter. Let's discard this. And they're dead. Okay, pretty good opening hand. Opponent goes first. Can't do much about that. One thing that went really well in that last game, the black game, is that I could have used Negate to stop their murder spell, their Go for the Throat, but I used March to phase out instead. And if I had done Negate, then their Liliana would have been able to make me sacrifice. Let's put that in the graveyard. So then I would have lost the Djinn, and I might have still possibly pulled out the win, but yeah. So it's a good thing I did March. It takes Djinn completely off the board, so even if they have sorcery speed removal, they can't get rid of it after that first move. Okay, so do we care? This is on our turn. Okay. I mean, I'm not complaining. All right, we're going first, and I think this is going to be our last game of this video. It's quite funny in the last one where they just conceded. Now, it might be that if I had countered what they were going to do, that would have ruined their plan. Maybe they had nothing else. Maybe they're looking for land. I wasn't actually going to counter it, though. I was going to see what they were going to do next. What they were going to do on their turn, not on my turn. But sometimes you get that with this deck. You know, you win because it's good, but also sometimes you win because they see an island and they don't like it. Make disappear is good. Let's keep that. Sometimes you counter one or two things and they just quit because they don't like it. And to be honest, I get it. I don't like playing against a deck that counters everything you do. That's no fun. It's fun for the person doing it. I wonder if they're going to quit. Okay, so we're going to play a Djinn now. It's early, but the only things we have in our hands are Fading Hope, which can slow them down, or Protect Ours and Negate, which will stop their removal if they have something to remove it now. The question is, do I care? I think I'm going to Fading Hope first. So get the Scry. Do I want land? Not really. Now they can do anything they like for 2 mana. So what do they have? A Spirited Companion, Calming of Transients, or nothing. Okay. Land. Another Djinn. See if they have more removal for us to negate. They do. Do we negate it? Did we not get the chance to negate it? Did I miss something there? We had mana, right? Maybe I missed something. Never mind. Well, I was thinking about not countering it anyway, because losing a Haughty Djinn early on is not too bad. Losing one later on when they're bigger is a bigger issue. So, do I get to counter this? Yeah, let's counter it now because we don't have another one. So we don't really want to lose this one. I mean, they might have another one. If they do, that's like, what, the 4th one? So what can we do? They do. That's the 4th. That is the 4th one, right? 1 there, 2 there. Yeah, okay. They've got all 4 ossifications out. Fair enough. Okay, well, let's see what we draw. And if we go with Impulse, we can pick something we need. Fading Hope might be a good one. But we can then do Tolarian Terror. Yeah, let's go with that. We could Fading Hope the Generous Visitor. But they're down to 3 cards. Down to 2 cards. Hallowed Haunting. It's a pain. But we can still Fading Hope. What's our last card? Audacity, that's a good one. Okay, that's fine. We can still Fading Hope the Generous Visitor next. In fact, we could just get rid of this. Don't really want to take 7 damage if we can avoid it. And we can get rid of that. Essence Scatter. I mean, maybe. But to be honest, I want something that's going to help us draw. So I might need to Fading Hope the next spirit that comes out. Or Calyx. The Essence Scatter looking really good right now. Okay, let's put Calyx away. Consider, okay. Work with that. We're getting lots of things in the graveyard now, so we're going to have a really powerful Haughty Djinn. The only problem... March. Not really. Okay, we can get this out. The only problem is going to be that if Calyx hits us, then it gets to copy one of the ossifications. And if it does that, then we're going to lose our creatures. So we need to get rid of Calyx. Now we need to stop them from getting flying and vigilance on everything. So I think they might get me here. So yeah, that Essence Scatter would have been pretty good. If we had that, then Calyx would be gone. I was thinking more of other enchantments they might have rather than the creature. And yeah, like we're done. But hey, not bad. That's 3 wins and 2 losses. So that's a 60% win rate. I think we're going to stop there. Let's just let them have their win. So yeah, having the right counter spells at the right time is really, really useful in this deck. Maybe I should have stuck with the Essence Scatter. I was just thinking maybe they'd have some enchantment like Audacity or another Hallowed Haunting that wouldn't necessarily help me. But with so many things in the graveyard, we would have had a very powerful Haughty Djinn if we drew it. Okay then. And we're back now just to go over the deck one last time and just remind you of the strategies to be able to win with this deck. So we got 3 wins, 2 losses, which is about 60%, or is 60% win rate, which is not too bad at all, but obviously a small sample size. Like I said, you want to make sure we get the card draw, we get to put things into the graveyard as early as possible. We need the right counter spells to stop things. If you stop a Calyx with an Essence Scatter, you're going to be having a much better day than if you end up with, what was it, a Consider instead. It does nothing. So yeah, Haughty Djinn comes out later. We don't want to lose them early on. The Tolarian Terrors, we don't mind losing so much. We just want to get things out to slow the opponent down. And once you get to a flow of knowledge and you're drawing like 5 or 6 cards and just get to throw 2 in the graveyard, and they might be extra lands you don't need, or they might be extra spells to be able to boost the Haughty Djinn to get even stronger, then you're going to be hitting with a very, very strong Haughty Djinn. In fact, one of those games, was it against the mono white deck we played against? We were 1 turn off winning that. If we managed to just block one more thing or counter one more thing, we could have hit them for, was it 26 damage? Even though they'd gained lots of life, the Haughty Djinns can get so strong. We have so many spells here. If we counter a few things, if we throw some things in the graveyard with Consider or Curate, if we find the right things with Impulse, all these things going into the graveyard. Thirst for Discovery puts 2 things in the graveyard if we want to. Flow of Knowledge puts 2 things into the graveyard. We can get loads of things in there pretty quickly and get really, really strong creature. And we want to make sure we have the land to protect it when it's out. If we have more than one, we might play one kind of recklessly to see if the opponent has the removal. And if they don't, you're having 2 Haughty Djinns out, you're going to win pretty quickly. So there you go. There's a strategy for the mono blue deck. You can do it without March of Swirling Mist. Just put Slip Out the Back instead. It's not quite as versatile. You can use it to protect your Djinn, or you can use it to remove one of the opponent's blockers or their shield red or whatever you want to do. But March is just that bit more versatile because you can target more things. And if you have too many cards in your hand, you can exile some of those to be able to cast this at a higher cost to affect more creatures. And even if the opponent has like 5 flying blockers out, you might be able to cast this, remove all of their blockers, and then just win with a big attack from the Haughty Djinn. So there you go. That's all I have to say for the deck. Let me know in the comments below if there's anything in those games I just played that I just did that was really stupid. Let me know if there's any like really silly misplays, because I'd love to know. And obviously it points it out for everyone else as well, so that we can all learn better how to use this kind of deck. And let me know if you use this deck as well, or if you hate playing against it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. That's all we have time for. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you don't want to miss out on any future videos on the value in Magic the Gathering Arena, getting the most out of the economy, and budget decks and things we can do like this deck here. Okay, well, thanks for watching this video to the end. I will see you in the next one.